It's time to take a TO. You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross. Each episode, we take you inside the DMV sports scene and beyond. Sponsorship and advertising opportunities are available. And now, welcome to this week's episode. It's time to take a TO. Here's your host, Kurt Cross, with Coach Steve Turner.
Welcome to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross, and we welcome you, our audience, to episode 12. You can find us on Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and just about anywhere you get your podcast content. We are a weekly podcast where we talk local and national sports. We talk life. We might jump into some tough subjects. And, of course, we talk WCAC athletics. Thanks for listening. And, again, we welcome you to episode 12. Before we get into this week's episode, Coach Turner, how you been, sir?
Man, doing great.
You in the middle of a week off.
We're in exams.
All right.
Good to go into exams after getting a win against your team.
It's a team I work with. It's not my team.
You have said.
Actually, I'm wearing purple today.
I love that you're wearing purple. I was going to compliment you on that.
All right. I work with I also worked with the Math last week. They're not my team.
You called the other team your team.
Oh, here you go. You know what? I'm not trying to take away from that.
But I love the work you do for them. You do a great job.
I'm not trying to take away from the fact that you're pointing this at me. But what I do like is that you guys are in exams and you're not playing games right now.
Nah, we're definitely going to always take days off.
Right.
Let the guys focus solely on academics because that's the reason why they're in the schools they're at.
Right.
And we'll get back to it when exams are over. So tomorrow will be our first day back on the court, and we've been off for 4 days.
How do you like that? Well, you know what? You haven't been off because I've seen you around town.
Oh, I'm going to go to work. I got work to do.
I see you with your notepad and everything, and you scouting.
Got to check out the other guys in the league, man. You can't win in this league and don't do your homework.
All right, you do your homework.
Got no choice.
I saw you in Hyattsville on Friday. Did I see you? You weren't at St. John's on Saturday, were you?
You saw me at a good council game in St. John's.
Right.
I'm out there, Coach.
You out there. You can't give us your whole schedule, but just don't be surprised.
Look, if you peek up and we not playing, I'm probably in
Actually,
the gym.
I saw
I'm probably in the gym nearest you.
I saw your crew on Saturday, didn't I?
You did.
I saw some of your crew. You everywhere.
Coach, we got work to do.
You got work to do. And you're not a finished product.
No.
That should be the theme.
Not even close.
That should be the theme here because, I've said this. This is the third week in a row where I've said this. You like that your team is not a finished product.
No, man. I want to see us grow week by week, and so far this team is doing that.
I saw 36 teams in Florida this week. Somewhere I saw PVI.
You got a lot of big events going on.
Okay.
Paul the 6-1 today down at the City of Palms.
Right.
Watched that game. So doing my work.
I watched that one too, yeah.
And then
what's his name was out?
The Mathis and Iolani.
The 6'11" kid.
He's out for stress fracture in the foot.
Okay, all right.
Patrick.
Right. Bonga, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they ain't missing a beat.
They did not. They won by 20, maybe?
Close game back and forth early.
Right.
But the point guard, Ben Hammonds, took over, and he got everybody rocking and rolling, and they went on and stretched it out and won, I think, by 19.
I really wish I'd had it on mute because those announcers were killing me.
They were bad.
They were bad. Yes, they were.
I have said this watching a lot of games, especially when I get to watch these games that are televised.
Right.
I got to figure out how to get on.
I do too. Look, but we have this problem, Steve.
We ain't got no problem. We got.
You want to do color?
I'll do either one.
I'll do the play-by-play. You do the color. But if we do the girl side, we're gonna flip-flop.
Oh, I have no problem doing that.
Okay, all right. As long as we do it. But you know what? Now that we're talking about announcers, 5 years ago, I would watch some of your games streamed, and definitely, with no disrespect to the young men who called the games, they were an unfinished product.
Yeah.
But year by year, the gentlemen who call your games on your streams for Gonzaga, I was very impressed with what I saw last week.
Well, I think one of the things that has happened, we have 2 faculty members who've taken over the reins of that whole group and have made it a lot more serious than I think it was in the beginning. Right. And the young men are realizing there's potential means to an end.
Absolutely.
And taking advantage of doing these games and what they could do for their futures.
Right.
And have taken it really serious. They do their homework. And it hasn't been bad to have a good name in the area. I'm not going to call them out, good name in the area,
a national name,
be able to give you some tutelage.
Right.
And you can see it. The kids are really good. I mean, to have other schools, coaches call me and compliment them.
Right.
Because their faculty or their families have said, hey, we need to do what Gonzaga's doing.
Right.
Shout out to my guys who are doing the broadcast, DC Classic, and our home games this year.
And if for any reason, at any time, you want me to come in and be a part of that or like sit with them, I would love to. Those guys are doing a good job.
I gotta link you up with Mr. Buckley.
Please, I would love to come in there and help out if needed. My week has been good. As you know, I called 7 games on Saturday. I called 1 game on Friday. But let's talk about the fact that some of these guys in professional sports can't get it together. Before we go to break, wow. Miles Bridges was denied entry into Canada because he has some criminal issues going on here in the U.S., so he can't play tonight. As Adam Silver is on the screen there, we're watching, I guess it's the Clippers and the Pacers are playing. Those are 2 teams. The Clippers are on the rise right now.
They are.
And the Pacers, well, you know what they can do. And Anthony Edwards, I'm not going to talk about what he did, but if you Google Anthony Edwards and his texts, boy, these young guys got to keep their mouth shut sometimes.
Yeah, they got to
keep their mouth
shut. There's no other way to describe it. So,
yeah, they got to keep their mouth shut.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
one little thing can tarnish their name.
And Twitter's forever.
Twitter's
forever. You can delete it if you want, but someone screenshotted it.
Yes.
Right? This week we are in the thick of all things sports, from the NFL playoffs race, taking shape, to college basketball, the NBA season, and the MLB making off-season moves. We haven't gotten a chance to talk about it because last week, well, we had sort of a big guest. We've got a good bit to cover. The WCAC is about to move into league play. Circling back to last week, episode 11, thanks again to former Washington Redskin Brian Mitchell for joining us in the studio. We had a bunch of fun, and we enjoyed having a Super Bowl champion and a former NFL player who holds 20 NFL records join the podcast. If you missed last week's episode with Brian Mitchell, it is available in our catalog on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and of course, wherever you get your podcast content. Coach, how much fun was that last week?
Man, B. Mitch is the man. It's unbelievable. That was a great surprise.
It was.
And to be able to have him in here and just, man, so humble, right? So gracious.
Hung out with the kids.
Just hung out with the kids. Showed the ring.
Yeah, he did.
Man, he was just cool, man. Just to, you see these guys on TV a lot of times, and you question and wonder,
are they real people?
Are they real people? And let me tell you, B. Mitch is real.
As real as it gets.
And just
mention us the next day on his show.
How about that?
Right?
And just a regular Joe, but it was so cool for him to take some of the time out of his schedule.
Right.
To come and bless us on our podcast.
Not by phone. Not by Zoom.
Right here, baby.
Come in the studio. So thanks again to Marquise for putting that together. Thanks to Brian Mitchell for putting that together. And let's take a break, and we'll return with this week's Starting Five.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
A Squared Home and Office Solutions. A Squared is the go-to source for home and office network and audiovisual solutions. They will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
The Starting Five. Let me tell you what's good about sports and youth sports. I realized the other day when I was at a certain school, and I had gone to one of their cross-country matches. And there's this not little kid, he's an 8th grader. There's a kid, but he's small in stature. And he runs cross country at my son's school. It's not my son I'm talking about. And I know it sounds corny, but I think you'd allow me this. I've seen the kid run, and he's not a very great runner. But he crossed the finish line a few weeks ago when I was at a game. You know what he said? Best thing I heard in a long time. He said, yes, I didn't finish last. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to get better from the last time because he was last in the previous race, and he didn't finish last.
Well, I think if everybody in the world took that approach to life,
right?
What a better place our world would be.
I mean, he was just happy that he did not finish last. He just wanted to do better than he did the previous time.
Man, I don't know him.
Right? That's your boy?
But my hat's off to him.
Right.
Young man, keep doing it.
Exactly. We are now up to our starting 5, though, Coach. So you're not getting off the hook. This is where I ask Coach Turner 5 questions he's never seen or heard from me. And he asks, why are you shaking your head, Steve?
Because I ain't seen him. I don't see your sheets.
All right. You have 30 seconds to answer each question. If you go over your 30 seconds, this is the sound you will hear. By the way, this board has very small writing, but you know what I did today? Went to the eye doctor. My prescription changed a little bit, and I'm getting new glasses, so I'm going to be able to see this board a little bit better. Now, Coach Turner, have you seen these questions on my script?
I just told you no. I was shaking my head. I told you I ain't seen it.
Well, it sounds like we have a righteous starting 5. Let's get to it.
Uh-oh.
If it were not being a men for others at Gonzaga and a basketball coach, what would Steve Turner's career be? Besides dance instructor.
Nah, it wouldn't be. I don't know that I can teach dance. I just dance.
Right. Okay. Well, so what would it be if you weren't on I Street being a men for others and you weren't one of the top coaches in the area, bar none, and a USA basketball coach? What would Steve Turner be doing?
I'd be a chef somewhere.
You know, I really felt like you would say that. Okay. All right. Oh, I got some of Adam's wings in there too.
Let's go.
All right. If you want some of those wings, I got them in there. As this is the season of miracles, your favorite time of year, tell me the miracle you'd like to create either locally or in a more broad sense to better the world.
Figure out how to help as many people as I can with mental health.
All right. So we sit at the table during the holidays to fellowship, be thankful, show gratitude, and of course, enjoy a meal. When that meal is over, what is Steve Turner's dessert of choice? Mine's peach cobbler, bar none, and it's Paula's peach cobbler.
I'm gonna go cheesecake with the graham cracker crust.
Oh, that's so good. Now, I know that's choice A. Do you do apple pie?
I do, but it's not in my top. It's probably not in my top 3.
Okay, so you got to settle something for me and Paula, though.
Uh-huh.
Hot apple pie, you put ice cream on it or no?
Yes.
She doesn't want the hot and cold together.
She's crazy.
Right? She doesn't want the hot and cold together. Oh, man, you got to have the hot.
You got to have the hot and cold.
Yeah, you do.
With that, you got to put that out, the a la mode.
You got to go a la mode. A new NFL team is forming. You are the offensive coordinator. Name your starting quarterback out of the folks we have in the league right now. Who's your starting quarterback?
Out of the folks in the league right now?
Correct.
I'm still rocking with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, who's your starting running back?
Running backs are obsolete, so it don't matter.
Right.
They kind of gotten pushed aside, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's a good question there, Curtis. I'm going with my man, Derek.
Yes, I was hoping you would say Derrick Henry because he straight trucks people.
Yeah. I want a bad boy that just going short yardage. We pounding it, baby, like old days.
Starting wide receiver. There's only one choice in my opinion.
I know you could probably say Hill.
Yeah, I'm thinking Hill.
I'm a lover with Smith, man, at Philly.
Oh, really?
That's my boy.
He plays tonight.
That's my boy. I'm rocking with Smith.
Okay, all right. Now we're back to our weekly faithful question. Keep 3. Eliminate 1.
Is this question 4?
This is question 5.
Oh, wow. We're moving quick.
Yeah, you're a chef.
Yeah.
You want to end mental illness.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going a la mode.
Yeah.
Or we're going with the graham cracker crust.
Cheesecake.
And then you got Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
So that's 4. Keep 3. Eliminate 1.
Oh, wow.
Movies.
Yeah.
Coming to America. The Godfather. Rocky. Do the Right Thing. Any of the Rockies.
Adrian.
You getting rid of Adrian?
I love my man.
Right?
But of those four,
You keep him Coming to America, The Godfather, and Do the Right Thing.
yeah, Rocky's got to go.
Rocky's got to go.
Yeah. Of that four, it might be if you had a different list, but of that four, I'm Rocky.
You mean like Rocky 2, where she's in the hospital and she tells him to go win?
Yes.
And Paulie says, "Oh, what the hell are we waiting for? You getting rid of Rocky?
I got to get rid of Rocky.
Rocky and Mr. T. Rocky and
I gotta
Drago.
get rid of Rocky.
Rocky and, I can't say his name, Apollo Creed.
I got to get rid of Rocky.
How are the Creed movies doing? Are those any good?
I've seen one of them.
Okay.
It was good. Mm-hmm. But it didn't
rise to the level.
Didn't rise to the level of
Okay.
the Rockies.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if I've ever asked you. Give me a couple of your favorite movies ever.
Scarface.
Never seen it.
What?
I know you're upset with me.
Man, all right, podcast done.
Stop it. Stop it,
Curtis,
Steve.
are you serious?
I've never seen Scarface, no. I've seen all the Godfathers. I've seen Casino, Goodfellas, all that.
So, Scarface.
Okay.
Godfathers 1 and 2.
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan.
Never seen that one.
What else? Oh, man.
My favorite movie of all time is Life is Beautiful. It's a movie about the Holocaust.
Okay.
And then Godfather 1, Godfather 2 in that order.
I mean, it's a lot of movies.
The best action movie I've ever seen in my life?
Oh, I'm lunching. How did I forget? Give me anything Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
Anything, all the Star Wars. All of them.
Right? Best action movie I've ever seen is Bad Boys 2.
Love Bad Boys.
Right.
And Bad Boys 2.
Right? You saw what I posted, right?
Give me anything Eddie Murphy.
Because Beverly Hills Cop,
Go.
Axel F is coming out this summer.
Yes.
On Netflix or Disney, one of the two. Or Amazon?
I forget which one is doing it, but
right.
But the preview's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm like, don't sleep back in the 80s, man. My man Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, the Die Hard series?
Man, those were good.
Yes. And shout out to, not that he'll listen, but shout out to Bruce Willis. He's not doing very well right now.
And then, no, he's not.
Right.
But, and then holiday season, Home Alone.
Got to do the. Adam makes me watch at least 3 or 4 of them with him every winter break. And I'm not mad.
Home Alone, baby.
We got to take a moment for Eric Montross. He passed either yesterday or today.
Yesterday. And
played for Stu Vetter.
I'm a big Carolina fan.
Yes,
so
yes.
That one hit.
He's only 51, 52 years old.
We just keep having the hits that keep hitting, and it's been rough. It's been a rough
couple of years.
Man, this last year's been really rough.
Right. We lost Joe Rada. You had some things going on, and we just, it's just.
My wife's pops couple weeks ago. I mean,
You realize how precious life is and say, you know what? Right here on this podcast, thank you for being my friend. I've appreciated you a lot because you've done a lot for me in terms of my basketball career and the social circle that you put me in when I don't even think I belong there.
Well, I told you that this is why I love being back on the mic with you.
Right.
This has been a great outlet for me.
Right.
In terms of, we talk the world, but also still getting away a little bit from the world.
Right.
And I want to hopefully keep this thing rolling and build it back up as we had it going.
I own the studio, Steve. We can do it whenever you want.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen.
All right, we're gonna get some sponsors.
But I want to appreciate you for,
of course,
just allowing me to have this space to be able to vet, have some fun.
Poke fun at me for St. John's.
Well, you poke fun at me too now. Come on. But just being able to have a place to just be open and honest.
Right, there you go. I appreciate that too. It's the season of miracles and all that. So we'll talk a little Christmas in a bit. But ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5. The starting 5.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgage intelligently.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word.
Guarantee the most epic and talked about homecoming or prom when you hire the Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Visit us online at www.mapdja.com. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association, serving the entire East Coast.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross. Shout out to our listeners on iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Amazon Music, Spotify, and to our entire audience. Please feel free to spread the word as we are growing our listening audience and our social following each week. Coach, I know why I didn't see you Saturday. You took a ride down 29 or down 64 or something, didn't you?
I did.
Well, let's give some love to the folks down in 64.
My young fella and his crew of Northeastern nearly clipped those UVA Cavaliers.
How close was he?
2-point game.
Okay.
With an opportunity down the stretch to go for the game winner. Unfortunately, they turned the ball over. But I did find out they were running a play for Jared to go for the win.
Okay, how about that?
So proud of him, man. Proud of him, proud of his team. Those dudes showed against arguably, I think, one of the, if they're not the best defensive team in college basketball, they are definitely one of the top 2 or 3.
Okay.
And for them to be able to play with them in their house over the break,
right.
coming off of exams,
right?
Man, I couldn't be more proud of Jared and his team and their coaching staff and the things that they did to give themselves a chance to knock off a top 20 team in the country.
I'm just happy that you get to see so many of his games.
And he knocked a few down, so it was good to see.
I saw some photos. Yeah. I saw some photos. You and Leah ain't gonna be short on photos. I can tell you that.
Nah, those photos she grabbed those off of somebody else's site.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty cool to be able to get those. Waiting a couple people that I know that were taking shots there, seeing if I can get some photos from them, because I'm just trying to
support the young fella.
Well, just keep a
diary.
A diary of his career. As I tell him all the time.
Sophomore year, right?
Oh, Dad, why you take a picture? I said, Slim, you're going to be married with children and going to want to be able to tell this story. And if you don't have pictures to tell the story, then it's going to be hard to tell the story.
Grandkids.
So just trust that your dad is doing it for the right reason.
Right, exactly. Coach, let's get into some local hoops talk. We are now well into our winter sports season, and of course, basketball takes center stage. Different than when we were in high school, you and me, the basketball scene during the public, private, and prep school seasons look a little bit different. For those who do not know, please explain a bit about the difference first between the public and private school teams in terms of scheduling and the blueprint of the season. What does that look like? Now, we know I'll do the public side. In public schools, you have maybe 22 games you can play in the MPSSAA, that's the Maryland Public Secondary School Athletic Association. You play 22 games, usually 14, 16, maybe 18 of those games are predetermined because you have to play everyone in your conference twice. And if you have a shorter schedule, like 16 of those, you'll play 3 or 4 teams that are maybe schools that are larger than you if you're a 1 or 2A, or smaller than you if you're a 3A or 4A. And then you get to pick a couple. For years it has been someone's going to be in like an IBO tournament where you get 2 games max over Christmas, right?
Right.
That's the way that usually works.
Played under that.
Right. But now things are a little bit different, not necessarily on the public school side, but on the private school side. Let's talk about where you get flexibility in your schedule and what that looks like versus a public school.
Well, I'd say it's not really that much difference now, Curtis, because even the public schools are finding ways to play in bigger events, especially if you got a big name player.
Okay.
So with the private schools, we play like I'll just use our league for an example.
Please.
We have an odd number. We have 11 teams.
Okay.
So based on the way that the playoffs were seeded last year, you know that if you were an even number team, you're playing everybody from that even number seeded in the playoffs twice the next year.
Right.
And you'll play the odds once.
Okay.
So that's your league games. So 14 or 15 league games. We can play 28. We were granted 29 this past year because we had a team that was vying to come into the league, so that we were granted all to be able to play them
once.
One extra game, which would allow us to play 29 regular season games.
Okay.
So then from there, you're picking non-conference games. Some of that is you're always going to get a Christmas tournament.
Right.
And then you're going to go to some of these big showcase events.
Okay.
So like for us, we went to Chicago this year. We played in our own tournament that's 34 years old.
Right.
Getting ready to go into next year. We'll go into 35. That's 3 games. We've got a showcase event. Then we got a Christmas tournament. We're going to Arkansas, so that's another 3 games.
Right.
We got a showcase event
Up north, right?
up in Maine. We
Right.
play Mount Verde this year. We got another showcase event in Springfield at the Hoop Hall of Fame.
Right.
And then we got another showcase game in Baltimore. And then we've had a couple other non-league games. So that extra game against John Paul the Great. We're playing Dunbar High School.
You played Blair.
We played Blair. We're playing St. Mary's from the Baltimore and MIAA.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to play Tacoma Academy.
Okay. How's Tacoma Academy? They're up and down, it seems like, over the years. But
They graduated a good group from last year.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're as good as they were last year. But Coach Creedle, he's a Gonzaga grad. And we're getting together to play.
Is there
each other.
anywhere the purple is not?
Eagles fly high.
Eagles fly high. Not the Philadelphia Eagles we're about to see, because we don't care about them. Purple Eagles, not green Eagles,
I'm always purple Eagles.
right?
But I do like a couple of the guys on the Philadelphia Eagles.
We talked about that in
And
the starting
anytime
five.
Philly can stay ahead of Dallas, which they've done, because
Right.
Dallas decided to get their butts whipped yesterday.
We're going to talk about that,
We're
too.
gonna talk, let's go into that right now because
Okay. Well, you got me flipping pages. Hold on, dog.
only because something happened yesterday.
Okay, so I don't know where we're going to end up in the script, because I'm not used to going off script.
Hey, we're going off script.
I'm a straight-laced kind of dude.
But
Steve.
you can handle it.
All right.
You are a professional.
Since we last touched on the NFL, some things have changed. What has not changed is that the 49ers and Ravens seem to be on a crash course to meet in Vegas in February. But we've had some movement in what appears to be simply everyone else. Let's start with those who are now eliminated. Our Commanders, the Patriots, Jets, Titans, Panthers, and Cardinals. No surprises there. On the other side of the coin, you've got teams like the Browns and Jaguars in the AFC, who, if the playoffs started today, are squarely and righteously in the playoffs, with teams like the Bills on the outside looking in. Do you see a team like the Bills making the final push to get themselves in? I'm getting to the Cowboys. They're in here too.
I think so.
You think so? Especially after
I
yesterday?
hope so, because they've last couple of years have quietly made this run, and I've been wanting to see them get close to finishing it. One of my former assistants is a big Bills fan. I know your wife is a big Bills fan,
Right.
And there's something about them. I like to see them get it done.
All right. Well, in the NFC, again, the 49ers are leading the pack with the Eagles and Lions right behind them. You've got a Cowboys team that, when it matters in big-time contests, Eagles, 49ers, Bills, they simply cannot get the job done. Now, I'm not sold on the Eagles, just for the record. They only beat the Cowboys by a little bit. But the 49ers and Bills straight obliterated the Cowboys when it mattered the most.
So, walking into a pub yesterday,
Okay.
picking up some pizza,
Right.
and of course, who's in the pub?
One of your Cowboys friends? Corey?
None of my friends,
Okay, none of your friends. All right.
but a bunch of Cowboy fans.
Okay. Because, Corey's a Cowboys
Half
fan.
drunk, talking smack,
Oh, here we go.
running their mouths.
Right.
And so I had to put them in their place. As I said to them, it's like, y'all are acting like y'all are there.
Right.
You get a couple good wins and y'all feel good about yourselves.
They're not good wins. Who are they beating?
Let me finish. I'm trying to be nice.
Right,
I'm trying
okay,
to be nice.
okay.
You get a couple good wins and y'all feel so good about yourselves.
Right.
But y'all seem to choke.
Right.
At the end of the day, y'all end up on the same couch with me, as my Commanders aren't getting it done.
Right.
Neither do y'all. Y'all get to the playoffs, lose the first game.
Right.
Either y'all got to figure out how to get Dak over the hump or shut up.
Right.
Y'all can't be in the bar running your mouths all the time about being America's team when America's team's supposed to win. So take the label and throw it in the trash, because y'all ain't America's team no more.
They beat the Giants, who They have 4 or 5 wins. They beat the Jets, who were eliminated from the playoffs. The Patriots, who were getting rid of their coach sooner rather than later. The Chargers, who fired their coach because they got 60 dropped on them. They beat the Rams, who the Redskins damn near beat yesterday. They beat the Giants again. They beat the Panthers, who had 2 wins. 2 wins total. They beat the Commanders. Well, that's not hard to do. They beat the Seahawks. That's a halfway quality win. Oh, they did beat the Eagles. They did beat. I'm sorry, I'm incorrect on that.
No, that's their only good win.
That's their only good win. I made a mistake. They lost to the Bills. So I mean, what are we even talking about here? And they're
going to make the playoffs.
They're going to make the playoffs, yes.
But if they can't get there, I need them to shut up. It amazes me in the DMV that there are so many Cowboys fans that forget. Let's not even say that they've never been in the stadium. They've never even been to Dallas.
They've never been to Dallas.
So shut up.
And how do they become Cowboys fans?
Shut up.
Just
enough.
Keep it quiet.
Enough. Until you get there and do it again.
Right.
I don't want to hear anything from Cowboys fans.
Oh, all right.
Nothing.
He is done with that. Now I got to figure out what page I'm on, Steve, because you had me break.
I had to break after listening to these clowns, and then I go home and watch them get smacked.
All right. Going back. All right. So we took a pause for the cause. Now we're coming back to these tournaments that private schools seem to play in. Out-of-town play, increased exposure opportunities, equal, looks from colleges, coaches, players get their talent on film. And what else does this do for the players and forget the programs? What does it do for the players?
It's exposure. It's an opportunity. Right. I mean, more than exposure, because if you're like my group, we try our best to take advantage of opportunities for wherever we're going culturally.
Okay.
To see some other things that maybe our kids wouldn't be exposed to in their lives if they weren't playing the sport that took them to a different city, maybe even a different country.
Right.
So the big thing is opportunities for exposure, though. You go to these events and play against high-level, high-profile teams. There's going to be scouting services. A lot of times there's going to be colleges. I mean, today at the City of Palms, they're talking about Bruce Pearl sitting front row, headphones on,
right, watching
the game. So when these big time college programs aren't playing, they're going to be in the gym watching these young men. So when you have these events where there's numbers of teams and numbers of high level players,
right,
all the kids are getting an opportunity to be seen by these colleges. So it's a huge opportunity.
Now this all sounds great. So where does this new effort in terms of high school hoops go wrong? As is the case with anything, we can draw the positives, but what about the negatives? What would you like to see done differently in these? Because there's got to be some, and I'm not saying there's always a bad guy, but someone is not there for the right reasons. Where does it go wrong?
Put the parents on mute.
That's the most important part.
I just think we got to stop trying to live vicariously through our kids and just be there to support them and their team and let nature take its course, and what will be for your child will be for your child. But there's too much hearing in the stands, the negative talk about the kid who didn't pass it to their kid, or the coach don't play my son enough. I don't think there's any coach, good or bad, that at the end of the day are going to try to do their best to put the best kids on the floor to give them an opportunity to win.
Right.
And so sometimes that's not our child.
Right.
And if we can't see that for what it is and just continue to help our kid grow, we're wrong.
I mean, the kid could be in foul trouble. It could be a matchup situation. You might need defense on the floor versus offense. You might need speed versus less speed. I mean, there's a million things. That's why you have assistant coaches also, by the way. Like, I'm sure your assistants tell you, hey, coach, let's get Tommy in the game. He's the best free throw shooter, and you know they're going to be fouling us. So you want to put some great free throw shooters in there. Tommy might not see a lick of time otherwise, but Tommy's going to hit those free throws if you want him to. And you got a parent to stand. Why is Tommy going in? He hadn't played all season. Dude, these coaches want the best.
I just think that they forget they don't sit in on our practices.
Right.
They don't know what happens every single day. And they're too quick to judge because of what they want for their own.
Right.
And I get that.
Right.
But you got to trust the person that you put your child in their hands. And if it goes through a season where it's not right, yeah, maybe you have to make some choices and make some decisions to do something that's different for your child.
But a 2-minute block in a game.
But in the moment, sit back and evaluate and let things happen, and be as supportive of your child as you can be. don't be the person that's the negative Nanny in the room.
And, I'm sitting there in the stands when I call games, and I hear all of this. And I hear it coming directly at the officials, too. Yeah. I have never known an official that purposely, now maybe you've seen something different. You see more games than I do. But
I played the fifth.
Moreover than not, I don't think we have a bunch of officials just out there to get one player or one team in general, in a general sense. And, they make good calls and bad calls both ways.
They're entitled, and it's going to happen. They're never going to be perfect. No different than us as coaches aren't going to be perfect, and the players aren't going to be perfect. The's nobody that's playing. That's
who else
a part
is
of
perfect?
that game. That's
the parents in the stands. They're not perfect at their job.
Nobody is, and so just enjoy it. I mean, it's first of all, it's going to go by so fast.
Right. The
4 years of high school goes by so fast. If you don't sit there and allow yourself to enjoy the experience that your kid is going through, you're going to regret it.
I hear, the other day, I'm in the stands. Oh, that referee must have better eyes than any vision I've ever seen because he saw something I didn't see. I'm like, first of all, you're not doing your team any help by so overtly complaining about an official because maybe that official has a long memory and doesn't make the call for you.
They definitely have long memories. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So, as parents, we need to sit back, watch the game, have a hot dog. Just enjoy the beauty of what is these young people playing basketball. For some of those kids on that court, they're not going to play at the next level.
If I could change one thing, I wish that I could put all parents from one team in one section.
Okay.
Because I think that would avoid some of the stuff that we hear.
And you want a remote in your pocket where you can mute them whenever you want?
You don't have to mute them. I think if you were made as a parent to sit with all the other parents on your team, there would be less. I think there would be less talking about others.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because you don't want to put that on Front Street in front of all those other parents, right?
Everybody finds their pockets.
Right.
And then they can say what they want to say. But if you were there, you're not going to talk about Johnny.
With Johnny's daddy sitting right there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Jerron Rucker. You know that name? Jerron Rucker. He's Mount Zion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He went to school with Chelsea. She got to see him. She hadn't seen him in 5 years. Wow. He got some good playing time. Very athletic. A little undersized. He needs to put a little muscle on.
Their team's scrappy, man. They play hard. I've watched them.
And they got some youngins, too. They don't have a bunch of seniors. Let's turn our attention to locally and what we are seeing here in the WCAC. Some weeks ago, the season began, and I personally have now been able to see games, including a couple of games with your Gonzaga Purple Eagles, DeMatha, Paul VI, and of course St. John's. From my perspective, sitting at the scorers table for a good number of those games in the past couple of weeks, you don't get any easy nights when you get into league play, dog. It seems as though every team plays fast, every team plays physical, and well, you got to be ready every night for a battle. Is that the WCAC locally and across the country as many of these teams embark on travel? Or do we play each other a little bit tighter, or that kind of gameplay travels too?
I think it travels. I think it's why when you get out of town, you see our teams have a lot of success because of how tough the battles are within the league. It's exciting at times to be able to see how well our league does versus national competition. And in most cases, when they go to events, teams from our league are going to win. And not just our league, teams from the DMV.
Right.
The DMV period, I don't care. Public, private, charter, independent. This is basketball heaven.
I called some games last week and some teams did well.
This is basketball heaven.
Right.
And the teams from here go out, show and prove. I say it all the time. When we're in the WCAC ring, I'm trying to do whatever I can to knock the other team's head off.
Right.
But I'm also proud of our teams when they go out of town, to watch them knock off and beat and play to the level of the competition that's out there nationally.
Well, Largo played well the other day. Tech Prep played well. Fairfax Christian played well. Mount Zion, Riverdale Baptist.
And it's funny because all the names you name, and they're all in different leagues.
Right.
And I promise you at the end of the season, those are some of the names that are going to be playing for championships in their league.
Right. So there you go. Let me ask this. Cooper Flagg, how good is this kid?
Bad boy.
He's on tonight.
Yeah, I'm about to go home. Bad boy.
And he's a Duke commit?
He's going to Duke, and he'll be there for 1 year, and he'll be a top five. Yeah. He'll be a top five.
But here's the question.
Top five.
What is Duke going to look like next year? They got PVI's kid coming. They got two from PVI, right?
Yeah.
And they got Cooper.
Well, they got Cooper.
Right.
Two kids from PVI are very, very good.
Uh-huh.
Cooper Flagg is on a whole nother level.
Is he really?
He's really that good.
The fortunate thing is, I keep a few dollars in my pocket because I call a lot of games, but I
here's,
don't get
and
to
here's why,
watch.
here's why I say that. Cooper, of the three kids you just named, is going in to be a starter next year.
Right.
I don't think, and Duke's got a very good young nucleus already.
Okay.
So I don't think those guys are leaving. So those guys, like the two guys coming from PVI, they are going to have to bide and wait their turn a little bit because of some of the kids that they have there.
Okay.
But that team as a whole, on paper, Duke's next year's preseason number one.
So Duke's reloading.
Reloading, for sure.
Like, they're not rebuilding, they're reloading.
Reloading, because both the kids from PVI could be players of the year in our league.
Right.
Cooper's probably the national player of the year.
Okay.
Watched the kid that played for North Mecklenburg out of North Carolina, Durham, in the second game of that event. They came back, ended up playing down to the wire with Link Academy, who's a top 5 team in the country. Okay. They've got a long wing, kind of reminds you of Brandon Ingram, former Dookie. They're loading. Those four alone, Duke's reloaded. And again, 2 from the DMV.
Right. As always. That wraps up this segment of Take a TO. We'll be back after these messages.
The hottest hits, lighting and visual effects, heart-pounding bass. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association. Dynamic DJ Entertainment.
Healthy Baller is dedicated to developing athletes at any level through customized programs created by our world-class trainers. Healthy Baller creates an unparalleled training experience centered around the athlete and coach relationship. Between our physical therapy team and strength and conditioning staff, we create an all-encompassing process to help injured athletes return to the field. Become your own success story. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Everyone loves a photo booth. At Epic Photo Booths, we provide your corporate event, private party, mitzvah, or any event with an incredibly fun photo booth experience. With a touchscreen design, fun props, backdrops, and more, you'll want to book your Epic Photo Booth today. Photos are delivered via text, QR code, airdrop, and yeah, our Epic Booths print too. Book your Epic Photo Booth today by going to www.epicbooths.com. Epic Photo Booths. Elevate the fun at your next event. Go to www.epicbooths.com. You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross, and of course, Coach Turner is the other half of this weekly podcast. Let's jump into it. Oh, well, we don't have to do the NFL because you already you called an audible?
I called an audible, baby.
He said, Omaha, kill. And we went somewhere else. College basketball on the men's side, you've got Purdue, Kansas, and Houston. That's Samson down there, right? In Houston, who seem to be at the top of the rankings each week. You like new blood being in the talk. So as we do not see names like UNC or Duke in the top 20 or in the, those top 10, do you expect this to be a different year with new blood maintaining this presence, or are we going to see, what normally happens come back around?
I think that core that you got at the top is just going to stay there and keep switching around.
Okay.
So Arizona loses to Purdue. Purdue jumps back to number 1.
Right.
Purdue will lose to somebody in Kansas, will jump back to number 1.
Right.
They'll lose to somebody in UConn, will jump back to number 1.
Right.
When I look at it, there's a strong 5.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Arizona in there?
Arizona's in there. Arizona could still be number 1 even though they lost to Purdue, in my opinion.
Right.
But Arizona, UConn, Kansas, Purdue, Houston.
Right.
Don't sleep on Mr. Izzo and the Michigan State crew.
Because they're not ranked yet, but they got some votes, and he's a bad boy.
Hey, they're starting to defend. And
okay.
When they defend, they become a problem.
Okay.
I don't think you can count Duke out.
Right.
Kentucky's getting better.
They're number 9, maybe?
They're getting better. Carolina's, no one's talking about them.
Okay.
but I think they're talented enough to be in that mix.
Okay.
But I still think that 5 that I first said.
Okay. So throw those 3 plus.
Then you start throwing in some Marquettes,
Gonzaga,
Creighton, Gonzaga.
Right.
Like it's gonna be a heck of a tournament because of the parity.
Okay.
And then you've seen all these young bucks that knock some of these big dogs off. So I don't know who the team is that's going to make the run.
Someone's going to do it.
Of the little brothers, somebody's going to do it.
On the women's side, we do not see much new blood at the top. South Carolina and Dawn Staley, UCLA with Kiki Rice, and of course Iowa with Caitlin Clark lead the way into today's rankings. UCLA will be tested a few times with matches against Ohio State, USC twice, and Colorado twice, and Stanford. Coach, I expect South Carolina to continue on their path, especially since, and I'm not sticking it to them, but just 2 of their next 19 opponents are ranked. You can only play, right, when they put in front of you, but I do smell a trap game somewhere. But when it matters, I expect the Gamecocks to be who we expect them to be. But very impressed with what Kiki Rice as a sophomore is doing to elevate them Bruins out there, huh?
Bad girl.
Yeah, she is. And Caitlin Clark, is she going to melt down like she did last year? And LSU is still around, but they're not the LSU that we know.
They got to tighten some. There's something going on in the house, but I'm watching them slowly fix it.
Okay.
You know, you had whatever was going on with my girl.
Right.
Mulkey gets kicked out of the game the other night.
Right.
Something that I think probably needed to happen.
Right. To fire them up.
Fire them up and reel them all back in together.
Right.
I think some of the glitz and glamour's sunk in a little bit. They got to get back to just basketball.
They got to get back to us against the world.
Yes. If they get back to that,
right,
they dangerous.
They dangerous.
I'll tell you who's interesting to watch.
Who's that? I think Ohio State's interesting to watch, but
UConn.
Right?
I'm paying attention to them very closely because of all the injuries.
And they're under the radar a little bit, right?
And watching how they beat Louisville, Gino's coaching them up again.
Okay.
Not that he hasn't been, but it's neat.
There's been less of a need before.
It's been neat to watch him figure out what he has to do with what he has.
Okay. All right. I hear you, brother. All right. Before we wrap up, Ohtani signs for $700 million. What pressure is there now for the Dodgers to win it all?
Ohtani, your lost son, Steve Turner, is right here. I'm coming to find you.
The Angels had Ohtani and Trout and couldn't win a playoff game. The Dodgers have to win now. They have to win. They got Mookie. They got a star-studded lineup. They got to win now. Agree or disagree?
I would agree.
All right. We're cruising right along in the NBA. We are nearly 1/3 through the season. And while we expected to see the Celtics, Sixers, and Bucks lead the East, by the way, Giannis dropped 60 the other night.
What did you think about that?
I don't think he should have dropped 60. They were up by 20 with 4 minutes to go, and he's still in the game.
Oh, no, my question, I'm not talking about the number. Him chasing after the ball.
That was interesting. He wanted that ball because that was his first 60-point game. Yeah. And he's like, where's the game ball? He had an issue.
Lost it.
Right? And then he went down into the tunnel, came back out because apparently another person on the other team did something for the first time.
First basket.
First basket. So, I mean, that seemed to be a little much. I got the NBA package, so I'm watching it all.
I wouldn't have expected something like that from him.
Really?
So I was that concerned me a little bit.
Yeah. The Timberwolves and OKC are still leading in the West.
Hey,
teams like the Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, and Suns.
New. I like it.
You don't mind it so much.
I don't mind it.
Suns can't stay healthy. Bradley Beal came back for 1.5 games, got hurt again.
I'm a Brad Beal fan.
Right.
But I didn't think it was ever going to work out because he can't stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy. The Pistons have lost 23 straight.
But I'll say this.
What's up?
Before you go to the Pistons. KD quietly still having an MVP potential season.
He sure is, other than the air ball he shot against the Lakers. Other than that.
You got to go with the...
I mean, but he did. He did that.
Damn Lakers.
He did do that.
I seen Father Time do the 360 too. I'm going to give him credit. Seen Father Time do the 360.
And got damn near a triple-double in 20 minutes the other night.
Hey, he's a bad boy.
He is.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
LeBron is special.
Right.
There will never be another. Just like there's never be another Shaq.
There
will never be another Jordan.
Right.
There won't be another LeBron.
Right.
He's a bad boy.
All right.
But you always got to throw that jab in on when you get the.
I'm just saying he shot. I didn't shoot the air ball.
Why could he shot the air? It could.
I didn't shoot the air ball.
But somehow it had to be against the Lakers. That's my whole point.
Right. I don't write the script. Talk to Adam Silver. I don't write the damn script. The Pistons have lost 23 straight. They have a roster. And they have Monty Williams, who's a local. He went to Suitland, maybe?
Monty went to Potomac.
Went to Potomac, okay. They have a roster. What's going on in Detroit? I mean, they got Marvin Bagley III. They got Cade Cunningham. I mean,
they got
too young?
Not too young, but a lot of what we talked about with the Wizards.
Okay. Oh, boy.
No, just second, third guys. They don't have a one.
Okay, all right. Well,
they got good name players, but they don't have a one.
Well, I'm going right back to the Wizards. In the last 10 games,
man, blow the Wizards up. Now we are Team of Virginia. I'm done. Man, I'm done.
In the last 10 games, they've given up 123, 142, 146, 124, 131, 130, 139, 136, and 131.
And then they say six man, part two, because your man dribbled down the court and fell on his own. Jordan Poole, you didn't see the memes all the last couple of days?
I have not seen the memes. But when are they going to wave the white flag?
They did. They went to Virginia.
Okay, so I'm out of here. All right, Draymond Green. Let's do this.
He screwed up.
He wouldn't stand a chance versus Larry Johnson, Rick Mahorn, Kevin McHale, Daryl Dawkins, Bill Lambert, etc. He's a big-ass bully. He's a big-ass bully.
Against
inferior guys. He wouldn't do that to Kevin Garnett.
No, he wouldn't do it to any of the big dogs from back in the day.
Right?
Debo would have pimped him.
There it is. So what is wrong with it? Well, I didn't mean to swing on him. Dude, you roundhouse this dude.
I don't know. It's weird because I listened to the sports talk. And they said this, and it made sense. It's like, it's only happening in games. Because you don't hear about him with domestic violence.
Right.
In the club doing something stupid.
Right.
All of his stuff is happening on the court. All of it's happening on the court.
Right.
Whether it be in the game or at practice.
Right.
I don't know what it is that he has to figure out to control during those moments.
Right.
But he's got to figure it out because he's very good for the game.
Okay.
But the things he's doing right now are just stupid.
Well, Adam Silver's giving him some time to think about it. He's suspended indefinitely. And I don't like what I'm seeing from Draymond. I've never been a huge Draymond fan. He's going to get you some assists and rebounds. We know that. Yeah. I never thought he was anyone's all-star. I just think it's easy to be an all-star when you're playing with arguably the number one shooter of all time.
Well, but he also brings something to the table that you know. There's a role for everybody. As I said, at camp when I talked to my young campers, you all have a role. Parents need to figure out that everybody doesn't have to be a 20-point scorer to be a part of the team. And you look at a guy like Draymond, makes millions of dollars to rebound,
dish,
protect his teammates.
Right.
I'd take that all day long.
Well, how about this? I've got a sophomore who's part of a 5-0 team going into the break who is probably averaging 2 or 3 points a game, but double-digit rebounds.
I was going to say she's double-digit rebounds.
And 3-4 blocks a game. And she locks up their best shooter.
She understands and respects her role.
That's it.
And she brings it to her team every single night.
Right. And there you go. So you need those people.
Gotta have them.
Right? Rodman, I'll be surprised if Rodman averaged double digits in points at any point in his career.
He never took enough shots to average double digit in points.
His job was to get under the skin of the opposing player and to grab rebounds.
And he did it.
That boy can get 19 rebounds in a game.
Better than anybody's ever done it.
Right. Him and Ben Wallace were some rebounding fools.
Yeah, tell Draymond mess with Ben.
He messed with Ben Wallace scares me because he just, first of all, Ben Wallace came from D3 to make it to the NBA. That's a pedigree right there.
That's big time.
That's some DNA right there. What else you got before I close this thing out, fella?
Man, I know we'll talk again. Will we be on before the holidays?
I think we got to schedule a recording because Christmas is the day we normally record.
All right, so we're going to have to probably record early, but just in case we don't get to do it and we push it till after, I just want to wish all of our faithful listeners an unbelievable Merry Christmas.
Right.
And for anyone out there who's in need, we don't know who's in need, so let's do this. Just make sure over this next week we check in with those we haven't checked in with for a while and make sure everybody's okay. Have a blessed holiday and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Coach, thanks for another week in the studio. Thanks again to everyone for listening. We'll be right back here for episode 13 before you know it. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, y'all. I hope you spend it with those you love. And, Coach, I hope you get that cheesecake with that graham cracker crust.
Nah, I don't know. Man, you trying to get me in trouble.
But I got some wings waiting for you right now.
Here we go.